Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. One of the most underappreciated and disrespected footballers we've seen in the past decade of football. When we talk about some of the best players of the past 10 years, automatically we think of two names, Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. But whilst these two were shining in the Liga and Champions League and were winning Ballon d'Ors year on year, there was always another player in the background, a player that was always in their shadow. Neymar, often described as the prince who never became king. A player with an absolute abundance of talent and skill who would take on multiple players at the same time and get past them with a different trick every single time. And overall just an incredible footballer to watch in his prime. But when it comes to discussing some of the best players of all time, some of the best Brazilian players ever, and even the best players in the last decade or so, for some reason Neymar never seems to be in people's top 5. And as someone who grew up watching Neymar, particularly in that incredible Barcelona team coached by Luis Enrique, I just feel like Neymar is an incredibly disrespected footballer, despite being one of the most gifted players we've ever seen, and someone who brought joy to so many fans across the world. Someone who at just 19 was already getting in Ballon d'Or conversations and shortlists whilst he was still in Brazil, which is just unheard of. Usually when you think of a Ballon d'Or contender, 99% of the time it's a player from Europe's top 5 leagues. But to be in the Ballon d'Or rankings at 19 years old whilst playing for Santos is just insane. And when we look back on Neymar's career, many people say he's a case of wasted potential, given the talent that he had. But to be honest, if you look at it in retrospect, Neymar has had a career that many footballers would kill to have. A 2-time La Liga winner, 5-time League One winner, a treble winner in 2015, 39 goals in 51 games in the 14-15 season, 31 goals in 49 games in the 15-16 season, and 20 goals in 45 in his final season at Barca. Not to mention his debut season in League One, which many people say is his outright best season. And statistically, you can't argue with that. I mean, 28 goals and 16 assists in 30 games in the season is insane, and is a season that many players would dream of having. And yes, of course, I know people say it's League One, but to get 28 goals in any league as a winger is incredibly impressive. And to be honest, one of the reasons I personally think Neymar is so disrespected is just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. A lot of people consider Neymar to be a superstar, and he is a superstar, but the problem with Neymar is that each club he has been at, whether it's Barcelona or PSG, he's always been in the shadow of someone else, and he's never been the main man. For his team in Barcelona, for example, he played alongside Messi, the greatest to ever do it. So of course it's very hard to be the star or standout of that team when you play on the same field as Lionel Messi. So despite having incredible success at Barca, we know of course Neymar broke the transfer record in 2017 when he moved to PSG in the hopes that Paris would be the place where he would become the main man. But again, there was a new kid on the block that just sort of overshadowed Neymar and his talent. Not only that, Neymar also saw a lot of hate from PSG fans themselves in particular due to his performances in the Champions League, which is of course a trophy that has always eluded the Parisians. And with a big money signing like Neymar, PSG fans believed he was the gateway to the Champions League, but it just didn't happen, and he always seemed to be on the receiving end of the blame. And to be honest, I feel like for Neymar, he was literally just playing in the wrong era. I mean, some of the best and most talented players we've ever seen play the game have never won the Ballon d'Or, and that's because during the 2010s of football, two guys were literally running the whole thing. And as I said earlier, Neymar was in the shadow of Messi and Ronaldo, and to be honest, for me, I think if Messi and Ronaldo didn't exist, I think Neymar would have at least 2 Ballon d'Ors under his belt. But when you've got Messi and Ronaldo playing in the same era as you, it's literally impossible to get anywhere near the Ballon d'Or trophy. And like I said, Neymar was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Not only that as well, the country Neymar represents have given him unwanted repercussions. Brazil, the footballing nation, the world's most successful footballing nation, 5-time World Cup winners, 9-time Copa America winners, and a nation that revolutionized football as a whole and brought along some of the best players of all time who brought flair and skill and joy to the game. Players like Ronaldo, Pele, Kaká, Ronaldinho made football so entertaining and of course achieved incredible feats themselves. So for Neymar, when you're playing for the biggest and most successful footballing nation ever, which has produced some of the best players ever, and you're labelled as the country's next golden boy who could bring international glory back to Brazil, when you don't achieve that, it hurts, and it hurts badly, and it does irreversible damage to your reputation. And of course we know the story of the 2014 World Cup, where Brazil was the host nation and Neymar was to be the one to carry Brazil to this World Cup that they hadn't seen since 2002. And this was their best chance to do it, especially with the squad they had. But things happen, injuries occur, and success isn't always guaranteed. And of course, success was so close for Neymar in 2014, but when he got injured against Colombia in the quarterfinals, everything just came crashing down. But despite this, Neymar still remains one of the most successful Brazilians of all time, being the all-time top goal scorer for Brazil. And when you consider the players who have played for that nation, that is extremely commendable, but there isn't a trophy to go with that. And to be honest, maybe if Neymar played for another the country, his international image would be perceived a little differently. And of course, the big one, injuries. Injuries are probably the biggest reason as to why Neymar's career was probably unfulfilled. When we take a look at Neymar's injury record, there are pages and pages of injuries that he has suffered all throughout his career, and that ultimately just slowed him down, missing 839 days of football due to injuries alone. So why is it that Neymar continues to be disrespected when it comes to footballing conversations, when we talk about the best players of all time and the best Brazilians of all time? Well, to be honest, I do think a lot of it is down to opinion and bias, because listen, Neymar isn't everyone's favourite, and he is someone for me who gets a lot of unnecessary hate from the media and from football fans themselves, and I've never really understood it. When you think of someone like Ronaldinho, I've never seen this guy get any sort of hate or disrespect, but when you think of Neymar, the opinion is sort of the complete opposite, and I've never really understood why, but his public image has never been great either. When we look at people like Messi and Ronaldo, for example, everyone seems to adore them as footballers, but when it comes to Neymar, I don't know, I just feel like that treatment is different. I feel like Neymar is someone who you absolutely love or you just absolutely hate. There's no in between. What are you guys' thoughts on Neymar? Where does he rank amongst the best players of all time? For me personally, I think he's one of, maybe the best Brazilian winger of all time, and definitely top 3 players of our generation. But let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know if you want to see a video on the career of Neymar. If you're new around here, please be sure to like and subscribe because it always helps. And thanks for watching. This has been Discussing Ball.